another minute. We're just waiting for Chris.
Okay.
Actually, I'll grab home. Is that it?
I'm here.
Okay, I was just calling you.
Sorry.
No, no problem.
I was so close, sometimes I forget.
Okay, yeah. Do you want to just stand? 'Cause I'm calling
Sure.
you. All right, I'm going to call the meeting to order, please. We'll say the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The first item on the agenda is the negotiation for the town coordinator position. I apologize for the lateness of the copies for the board members. Mr. Ritter and I, since last Monday's meeting when I was given authority to enter into negotiations, to go over the contract and review, we have been in contact mostly by phone, some email, to come up with the contract that you have in front of you. Unfortunately, the final copy that I had was on my laptop, which was at work. So I didn't even remember that until 2 o'clock this afternoon. So I do apologize.
It doesn't give us much chance to review this.
I'm still talking, thank you, Mr. Columbus. It does not give you much time to review it. It is substantially the same as the template that we were talking about when we were discussing in executive session. And I have copies of that template if you'd like to see it. Some of the changes, it has Mr. Ritter's name in it. The template that we were talking in discussion in executive session that we used as the basis for this particular contract came from an old contract that we had from a former town coordinator. So if you want to take a few minutes, please, to review the contract, I think that's entirely appropriate. And again, I apologize for the lateness of this contract.
And the number 6, the salary, that's higher than what we discussed at the last meeting.
Actually, for number 6, that is step 3 for grade 12. And I have that documentation with me.
And the severance pay, where'd that come from?
That was in the original. That was in the template that we had talked about.
Why did I rush to judgment here to make an appointment so soon with the recall vote coming down the road?
I believe it's in the town's best interest, for the whole town, for the running of the town, the operation of the town, the development of the budget, for the planning of the warrant, for the annual town meeting and the special town meeting in the spring.
As far as the
That
budget?
we have, excuse me, I'm still talking. You asked a
As
question and
far
I
as
am
the budget.
answering it. The reason why, and it's not undue in haste. We've reviewed this, we've had the interviews in public, we went over the contract last week, we had the template that this is based upon. There are some minor changes. Severance was in there, in the template.
As far as
The reason why I feel it is necessary to proceed in this manner is because it is in the best interest of the town of Templeton to move forward, to bring some professionalism into the town coordinator position so that we can look at our budgets closely and come up with a good plan for the town. That is why I feel it is necessary to discuss this and to bring Mr. Ritter on board as soon as possible.
And if new people get the nod on February 6th, you're willing to stick the taxpayers with another bill?
You are.
Through the chair, please. The reason why we're here is to discuss this employment contract. When the former town coordinator was interviewed, it was March 16th, 2004. She started the job March 22nd, 2004. So I do not believe that we are acting in undue haste to fill the position. The reason why there's a severance clause is because of the recall.
There was no recall back then. There is a recall now.
Exactly.
Things could change drastically.
Things could change drastically, and I believe that we're all well aware of that in this room.
So as far as the budget goes, what he's concerned about crafting the budget for fiscal 13?
Sure.
You are?
No, she
I
said
was
sure to me.
saying sure to Chris. Yeah, I am concerned about drafting the budget for fiscal 13.
Have you talked to the accountant about the budget yet?
I asked the accountant, and I believe we have sent out the template forms for all department heads to submit their budgets. Is this correct, Kate? Yes. Yeah, I think you're the one who sent it out, right?
Well, if we appoint this gentleman tonight, I assume he's going to have to give a notice to his current employer, which I think would take to the middle of the month, next month. And 2 weeks after that is the recall vote, and I don't think it'll affect the budget that drastically, as the accountant has everything just waiting for the numbers to come in. He has a pretty good handle on it. In fact, he's going to be requesting to meet with us sometime next month.
Okay,
So I would think we
right.
want to wait until that before we go forward with any appointment.
Mr. Ritter, do you have any comments to make?
Actually, I do have to give 1 month's notice with my current employer. However, with unused vacation time, I may be able to start in Templeton much earlier than the middle of next month. I'm tentatively looking, if we execute a contract this evening, subject to my notice to my town and working with the existing board in Hatfield, of a possible start date in Templeton of Monday, January 9th. Secondly, to answer your question, Mr. Columbus, if the town of Templeton waits until after the recall and decides to make an appointment of a town coordinator on February 7th, I would then not be available to the town of Templeton until sometime in March, which would be too late to really affect this budget cycle at all. If you were to appoint someone else the day after that election, likewise, that person would probably not be able to start immediately. So I view that statement as problematic, I guess, because waiting 6 weeks now at a critical time in Hatfield, I am undertaking a budget process right now. That's what most municipalities across the Commonwealth are doing right now. And waiting 6 weeks, I think, is problematic. I don't know the history, and perhaps the town accountant is completely on top of it. I can't speak to that. But I am aware that towns are engaging in January in their budgeting process and their public hearings over department budgets.
Okay, I'd like to go over the contract. We'll do it section by section. The first part was changed to reflect Jeffrey Ritter of Harvard, Mass. The function and responsibilities were the same as what was in the template that we used. Professional development expenses. Those are substantially the same. I believe in the last paragraph where the town agrees to pay the employees' membership fees, membership dues for professional association and organizations subject to prior approval of the Board of Selectmen. I think there was something about funding in there as well. Mr. Ritter, you're a member of?
May I interrupt? Yes.
Yes.
I'm a member of the Small Town Administrators of Massachusetts. I'm going for certification there. I'm a member of the Mass Municipal Management Association, the town managers in town hall. I'm a member of Mass Municipal Personnel Association, because in my town I wear many hats. I am asking leave right now, should we execute a contract to attend the Mass Municipal Association Annual Conference in Boston at my own expense. It would not be an expense of the town, but I'm already registered for that conference, which is Friday and Saturday, what, the 20th and 21st of January. And I'd like the opportunity to continue with those associations as we go forward. Most of which I would add does, a substantial portion that comes out of my own pocket, so I'm not really asking the town of Templeton for a significant budget item on that, just an opportunity to participate and to have the leave time to participate.
Under benefits, I believe we went over this last Monday with the 5 vacation days in advance, so that Mr. Ritter would be able to take a vacation. So the rest of it is substantially is the same as what was in the template. The sick days, there was no change. Personal days, no change. Holidays, just the bottom part was cleaned up a little bit. There was some strike-through language at the bottom of that in the template. Bereavement leave is the same. It used to, F was on page 4, F, health insurance. It's now health life insurance because it does mention a life insurance program, and the heading didn't reflect the life insurance part, so that was the change there. The term. I was given the ability to negotiate with Mr. Ritter the contract, and we had talked about a 3-year contract, and we had talked about what step to begin and end at, to give me a range. This particular contract that you have in front of you is for a 3-year period, commencing in January of 2012 and ending in January of 2015. And we can come back to that in a minute, okay? The evaluation portion is a little bit different. Actually, I think it's to a higher standard to evaluate the town coordinator. In C, I believe we had 90 days. You have 4 weeks where you are now, so we compromised with 60 days as notice, if you should leave. Hours of work, substantially the same. B is a change. Dismissal and severance, 5, was in the template. The salary is a step 3 for a grade 12. And that's $62,836.80. And because this, what we have in front of us is for 3 years, the other 2 years of this particular contract would be negotiated annually. Appropriation, indemnification clause, I believe these were all in the template that we had last Monday that we discussed in executive session as a starting point for negotiations. Now, during some of the negotiations we had in discussions, I know, I don't want to put you on the spot, Chris, but you did say...
It was on camera.
Okay, well, no, that was an executive session.
Oh, that's right, it was.
Okay. But you said you only wanted to do a 1-year
I felt
contract.
comfortable
With a 1-year contract. And Mr. Ritter and I have talked about this. And we could change this to a 1-year contract, but in order to do that, he would want a step 4 salary.
We
Okay.
actually discussed that.
Oh, okay. All right. So,
I've been thinking about it all week.
okay. So, we have basically 2 proposals, the 3-year at a step 3, the 1-year at a step 4. So, I think at this point, you know, I would like to get this negotiated. I would like to get this contract signed tonight. I think it's in our best interest for the town to get this resolved, to get Mr. Ritter on board. I believe he has the skills to lead us in a direction that would be healthy and productive for the town. So I believe, Mr. Ritter, you're agreeable to a one-year contract at a step 4.
I am.
Okay. So when you enter into a negotiation, there's a lot of back and forth and, you know.
I just thought it was a reasonable trade-off.
Okay.
Should we be discussing this in open session? It's just a question.
I checked with legal counsel and they said yes. And they also said that we could mark up the contract that we have in front of here. If we were to go to a one-year contract, there are some areas that we would need to look at. One would be the vacation. I don't know what I do in my forms. The salary and the term. Okay? So if that's the direction.
Why would you have to change?
Because, well, actually, I don't know if we do or not, because I was reading it again.
Because normally he's granted that after
Right.
it's 6 months, right?
Right,
Which is
so
allowed to have it. So we can use
we're
it.
just
If
allowing
it's
him to
granted
take
6 months, the next grant is at 18 months.
Right.
Which
Right.
might not kick in.
Yeah. I
kick
don't
in,
think
so
that-
I don't think we have to change that. So it'll be the term, number 3, the term, and number 6, the salary. So it will go from $62,836.80 to $65,332.80. So we have 2 options. Mr. Ritter is agreeable to both.
Like I say, I've done a lot of soul searching, a lot of thought on this weekend. And I've done some checking into some other issues with this hiring. And I would like to go ahead with the hiring, adding 1 year at step 4 if the board is agreeable to it.
So a 1-year step 4. Are you making the motion?
I'll make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Is there any further discussion? All right.
Julie Bob has his hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can't.
I think going forward with whatever is voted here is a big mistake for the town. Just so much up in the air. New people could be coming on board come February 6th, and it's just going to complicate matters even more, or it could.
All right, duly noted.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
As far as this recall goes, if it's the goal or their intention, or I think if you do get new people in and they come in here and just want to do payback or whatever and just say, well, we're bringing back the old person, the old coordinator, the old law firm, the old this, they can just start the clock counting on their recall for 6 months. It's time. We need somebody in that office. I would prefer a 3-year contract. We need somebody in that office. Get back to business. There's a lot of stuff this town's going to have to deal with. There's a lot of financial stuff still got to be looked at. That town hall thing is not done and said yet. That could change February 6th. We need some stability in there, and I think we ought to stop playing this little game of, oh, the recall could do this, the recall could do that. I hope if there's any changes, I hope they come in here seriously wanting to work to move forward with the town and not dilly-dally around and dicker and spend another 6 months wasting the time of the taxpayers and the board. Put somebody in place, and if you run for this office, you should support them and move forward. And there's a lot of issues facing us. The budget isn't going to get easier. So, you know, enough of the games already.
Mr. Columbus?
Well, Jeff, if you didn't know it already, there's always issues facing the town year in and year out. The former coordinator was appointed to a 3-year appointment, and you three decided to end that appointment early. So that's the difference between this issue, this appointment tonight, and that one. If you mean what you say, you want the town to move forward, you said they need somebody in there now, well, you had somebody in there prior to October 11th. You decided to remove the person for apparently no just cause and no reason, and that's the reason of the recall. So evidently the people do want to change.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes, I don't think we need to base, you know, our decision on what could happen. Because for my gathering of nomination signatures, I find it really unlikely that it will happen. And after seeing who is running, I'm not sure that there's much chance that it will happen.
Well, nobody said it will, just said it could.
Well, I don't do things on that because something could happen.
All right, let's get back to the issue at hand. Are you addressing the contract?
Well, no, I just wanted to make a statement. As the deputy assessor of this town, I have spoken with our accountant, Scott Sawyer, and we chit-chatted about how 2013 is going to be a horrendous year for the budget. We have used all our free cash, and all politics aside, I mean, my assessments are going in the toilet. We've just voted to have the fire departments get the fees from rescue and all that stuff, and he said it's going to be a mess in 2013, and that is quoting our accountant. So can we put everything aside and, like Jeff says, focus on the future? And now I know I'm going to get slammed for voicing my opinion, but that's it.
That's why it's an open session.
I just have a quick question, Julie.
Yeah.
On the 3-year, you said it'd be a step 3, grade 12.
Right.
Okay, if it goes for 1 year, so the step 4.
Grade 12.
Is there another grade 12?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear that grade 12.
No, I don't think I said it, so.
That's all right. I'm just not sure about the steps and grades, okay?
Okay.
I have no idea what you say on that. That's all right. I just didn't hear that.
Yeah, the town coordinator position is at the grade 12. So then you go steps across, and the salary increases per step,
Okay.
okay?
Thanks.
Yeah, so for a step 3, it's $62,836.80. For a step 4, it's $65,332.80. Okay, that's the difference between a step 3 and a step 4, grade 12.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a comment. First of all, to Mr. Stewart, thank you for the consideration and the discussion that we had. I am prepared to take a 1-year step 4, grade 12 contract. But there should be no illusion that a 1-year contract is not a 3-year contract. And the psychology that I use in approaching an engagement that's a 1-year engagement is different than the psychology I use in approaching a 3-year engagement. I will give this town 110% of my effort, but stating the obvious here, they are different terms, and you know, I will gauge my activity according to the term that I'm given. If I have 1 year and I really do want to make a difference in Templeton, I'm going to gear up and hit it very, very hard. And I hope that people will stick with me on that. At the end of a year, you can review my performance and make a decision whether to renew the contract or not, whoever sits here as a board. It's just a different profile that plays out a 1 year versus a 3 year. And that's obvious, I'm just stating the obvious.
All right. So right now, I'm going to change those 2 sections, the term. Oh, okay, all right, you ready? Thank you. Is there any more discussion? Mr. Columbus?
No.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
I will reluctantly vote. I'll vote yes, though I prefer a 3-year term.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
And I will vote yes as well. With some reluctance, I would prefer a 3-year term to give the town more stability, but I think, to move the board through this period of time where we have a lot going on, that I think it's in the best interest of the town to do a one-year. Okay? All right, so at this point, I'm going to make the changes. I'll initial them, you'll initial them, and then we'll send it off. Okay? So it's December 19th. And period of 1 year, commencing January. Should I
don't know what the attorney would say. Why don't you put January 9th and then,
Okay.
subject to review. I certainly will know by the end of this week exactly when my start date will be.
Okay, and if it's a
And
1 year?
as I discussed, the one way to work this out may be for me to take 1 day leave without pay in mid to late January to go out and settle affairs there, wrap it up, and then it would be without pay. In that, sometime in that 2-week window. May I make a statement while you're doing that?
Yes.
As I said in my first interview, and I will reiterate now, I work for the entire board, not an individual member of the board. I work for the entire town, not an individual in the town. And my role as coordinator is to provide meaningful analysis and support for the entire board, every opinion on the board individually, as well as the board as a whole. That's why I was willing to take this step and put myself at professional risk to make sure that we're developing consensus as a board and as a town. And I will continue to do that.
Do you want to initial the changes? All right. Okay. All right. I'm going to sign it, and I would appreciate it. Whoa. I should probably put my glasses on. Once it's signed, it is a public document.
Yes, I think.
Do you have a pen? Yep. Okay, good.
Yeah, they could look all the same.
Julie,
Yes.
so as of now, we have a new town coordinator.
Well, as of January 9th.
Well, yeah, but I mean, as far as, so we congratulate him.
You want to congratulate him?
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Well,
It's a pleasure to be with you.
Thank you, Eddie.
And welcome aboard. Thank you very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
I'll have Nancy in touch with the details. All right, the next item on the agenda that we have for tonight are appointments. I believe we have just one. And, oh, there it is. Okay. Do you want to?
Sure. Members of the board, I come tonight to recommend hiring a new highway mechanic or town mechanic. Change that. I'm recommending to the board recommend hire Robert Adams for the mechanic's position. I also recommend starting Mr. Adams at step 3 of the union contract at $20.65. After a 6-month probation period, he would advance to step 4 at $21.62. Mr. Adams holds a Class B commercial license and a 2A hoisting license. Those 2 items are in his job description, in the town's job description. He meets both of them. As a requirement of the job, he will supply all his personal tools needed for the position. My foreman and I, we interviewed 4 candidates. They were all running pretty close. However, we chose Mr. Adams due to the fact that he did meet all the requirements within the job script, and we were satisfied with that. He seems to be a very well-educated person in the field that we're looking for, and I took the opportunity to, because it is a different step, usually the mechanic starts at a step 2. There is no step 1 for the mechanic. I did check with Local 39. I made a phone call there to Fitchburg today. The union rep suggested that I talk to the membership, and if they were all in agreement of this increase in step to start this mechanic, due to the fact of his skills and the equipment that he needs to bring in to do his job. And I presented you with a copy of it. They all signed in support of that differential and step change.
I do have a copy of that. We didn't make copy for all board members. Sorry. I think this is the original, right?
Yeah, save paper.
Okay. All right, so Kate, we're going to have to keep this with the documents so that we have it, but if you want to take a look at it, you can. And I believe it's not setting precedent to start at a step 3.
That's correct. The last time we went through this exercise and hired the present mechanic, he also started at step 3 for the same reasons. He came in with his tools and his skills, his qualifications.
Yes.
Yes, is this person lives somewhere nearby where, he'd be available and, during a breakdown on a snowstorm?
Absolutely. He lives in Athol. He's minutes away. And on a full snow and ice operation, he will be activated for plowing reasons. And the same as a fill-in if highway staff is out on a sanding operation. So he's more than willing to fulfill all the requirements that the town's asking them.
Mr. Chairman? My main concern, this guy familiar with the older equipment, and will he be able to do some of the major repairs so we're not paying twice for it? We're not have to farm it out to a dealership as we've had to done in the past, where we've had a mechanic at 40,000, whatever, it's 40-something thousand a year, thereabouts, and we have to ship some of this work off and spend thousands and thousands of dollars for repairs to be done, at a dealership or another shop. And I understand, some things, a machine shop stuff is one thing, but is he up to that?
Through you, we did talk about that in great length, and I explained to him that we're looking for more in-house repairs. For the equipment that will have to be jobbed out will be due to the fact that we don't have the proper equipment to repair it at our facility, and or the special equipment that the town may not own. However, we did talk in great length about it, and he's going to, in his past experience in working on the equipment, there's a lot of things that can be done in-house that wasn't, that couldn't be done at the present. So that's what we're striving for, is more in-house repair, which we do, the majority of it. It's the specialty work that's got to go out. Now, we talked about putting in clutches if we had to put a clutch in one of the big trucks. He's done that numerous times. His current employer is Waste Management. They work on all the trash trucks. He's done a lot of in-house repairs. They don't job out much. So, yes, we did talk about it to answer your question.
Okay, because that was one thing I remember not too many years ago, there were some clutches and they were sent out. It was a good chunk of money, and it's something I feel should have been able to have done.
I agree with you.
You know, because we need, with this equipment you have, and, you know, we all know it's rusted paint, bale and wire holding some of it together through, you know, no fault. But we need somebody that can work on that and clean up some of that stuff so we don't spend, we're not paying twice.
That's
It's
right.
my big, you know, my big concern.
He did a shop walkthrough with me. I showed him all the equipment that we have, hoping not to scare him. But I didn't want him walking through the line, looking at everything that we own. We went over every piece of equipment, and he was completely comfortable.
Anyone else have any questions?
Not on this.
He needs, does he need a background check for this, or just a physical?
No, I think just a physical. I think that's the requirement. So I'll entertain a motion at this point to appoint Robert Adams for the town mechanic position, starting at a step 3 of the union contract, and after 6-month probationary period, advancing to a step 4.
So moved.
Second.
I need a date, is that what, just speak up, it's all right.
Should it be as of a certain date? Because we already
The
have
start
one
date,
until a
right.
certain date, we have to have.
Well, the board could set whatever start date you want pending his medical physical, then he's eligible to come. And then he will be given a 2-week notice to his present employer.
Right.
So as far as the start date would be as soon as he can get his physical in, and he may want to do his physical first before he gives his notice. I'm not sure. I'll check with him in the morning.
Okay, all right. So if
You're
we,
looking at roughly the same time as Mr. Ritter.
right,
Well, what we're hoping to do is that he's actually starts a day or two before the present mechanic leaves. A little bit of a turnover. This is where we keep this, and this is who I buy from.
When is he leaving, do you know?
Just after January, I think around the 4th or the 5th.
yeah. Okay, that's a Wednesday, Thursday, so if he started on
That
the
would
9th.
be, that would be his last day.
Okay,
So if I'd like to have him start, yeah.
okay. So if we can amend the motion to do a tentative start date of January 3rd?
Yes.
Does that look like it might work out? That's 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Yeah. So do we have a motion? I thought I did.
Yeah, I said so moved.
And
All
I
right.
seconded it.
Okay, so it's seconded, thanks. All right, we did the discussion beforehand. Mr. Columbus?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
And I will vote yes. All right. Did you
But,
have another question?
yeah, the Churchill Road down here on the right, is that a public way, you know?
It's a town road.
It is.
Town accepted road.
Is it on that list of things to do?
Yes, it is. It's on that road. It's on the list of roads to be rebuilt, yes.
And here's any idea when it might be done?
I haven't got a target date set for it, but it is one of the roads that would, you know.
Not in the foreseeable future, though, right?
Without making a strong commitment, not in the near future, no.
Not this year.
Well, it depends on what the board wants to do and sit down and what roads that we want to attack this coming season. Now, Churchill Road is an important road for the 3 houses that live on it, no doubt, but some of the roads, other roads that we got in town where there are multiple residents that are in deplorable shape too. It's a dead-end street, it's, you know, it's only traveled by the residents. I mean, that's how I try to prioritize the roads.
I understand, it's just that the residents, been waiting for quite a while to have something done. I just
And
wanna
we do our best to keep it, you know, keep the potholes patched and whatnot. They're good about calling us when it needs it again. But if it's the wish of the board that they want that set as a priority road, then just let me know and we'll set it as a priority road and
Well, we just have
get her
to
done.
see, you got some done in East Hampton, so.
Yeah, we got some done in East Templeton is, again, perhaps sometime in the near future, we ought to sit down and talk about our roads
I think
and
it'd be a good idea.
what direction we have to go.
All right, next agenda item, I'm kind of moving fast because conservation hearing. Yeah, so I want to kind of get this done. The last item for discussion is how to deal with the OPM contract. What happened was the RFP for the OPM contract for the municipal building on 252 Baldwinville Road had a $3 million, I believe it's a liability, professional liability within the RFP. So the companies that submitted bids had their $3 million in the request for proposals for the owner project manager for 252 Baldwinville Road. It was awarded to a company that has $1 million in coverage. So I've gone back and forth with town council, with Lisa Mead. I believe there's an email in there from Chuck Wynn, who is our Meyer account representative. And I've got Chuck right here in an email in print saying he's the culprit. Okay? When it was changed from $1 million to $3 million. So I believe the easiest, quickest way to resolve this situation so that we can start to pay the OPM, get the contract signed, and get this moving is for the board to vote to lower the professional liability from $3 million to $1 million, which is what the company has. Yeah.
I'd just like to clarify on that contract. The contract is the portion, the actual work that's going to be done on the building. So in order for that portion of the contract to be activated, it has to pass at the town meeting on the ballot on February 6th. What they're just looking for right now, just to clarify, is the payment that the work they did leading up to this special town meeting on November 7th, which is $4,500. The main contract, if they want to leave it at $1 million, put it at $1 million, fine, but they were just looking to get that initial payment up until November 7th.
Okay. But in order for us to make it all legal, we have to vote it to the $1 million limit versus the $3 million.
And I guess that's
Okay.
what town council came up with, right?
Right, that was her suggestion, so I'll entertain a motion at this point to vote the OPM contract from a $3 million professional liability to a $1 million professional liability coverage.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All right, Mr. Clovis?
Yes.
Mr. Mitchell?
No.
Mr. Bennett?
Yes.
Mr. Stewart?
Yes.
And I will vote yes as well. All right. We do have a meeting that is tentatively scheduled for December 27th. I believe we're holding that open for the appointment of the town mechanic. So at this point, I'm not going to cancel it, just in case, but it doesn't look like we're going to have anything pressing that can't wait until January 9th. Okay? So I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Merry Christmas to everybody.
I'll